Hello. So I need to go out and go to the gym. I've got all my gym garb on, and then I need to go pick up some prescriptions for myself, go to Walmart to get my husband a few things that he needs. And when I come back, the house is a disaster. So I've got to reel things in. Last week we had a vacation Bible school all week long, and I helped with that. So I was getting home super late, and then during the days, I had like some things scheduled and stuff, so I wasn't home a ton last week, and a lot needs catching up on. So my husband also requested pizza for dinner tonight, so whenever I get home, I'm gonna throw a pizza dough together. Hopefully that'll be done rising and ready. Maybe even if it's early, at least it'll be done and ready for dinner time. And then there was something else. What was it? Oh, I need to like clean the bathrooms. Like I said, my house was a disaster. The kitchen is clean. There's just dishes that were drying overnight that I need to put up. So there's that. And good news, I lost 10 complete pounds now. So I am down 10 pounds. For a while it was like 8 pounds, then 9, then 10. So I'm really close to being under the next number, like set of 10 is what I'm saying. I wasn't really going to share my weight with you unless you really wanted to know, because I don't want to be sharing my weight all over the internet. But I'm really happy about that. I might also prep some stuff for lunches, just healthy things for me to have that are easy to grab. So I'm gonna go ahead, head to the gym, and then I'll see you when I come back. So I just got back from the gym and running errands and stuff. I picked up some more beans because I'm gonna make some Cowboy Caviar. The last time I made it with y'all, I didn't like it because I didn't like the dressing that the recipe called for. It was weirdly sweet and too much vinegar and too much oil. So I've kind of changed things around, and it's gonna be like a lime honey style dressing, and it will be a whole lot less of it. It'll still have plenty of flavor, but that's basically the gist. I'm just gonna drain and rinse these cans of beans and corn, and then throw it in here and chop up some stuff to put in it. For the dressing, I'm going to squeeze a lime or two. Probably just do one and do a bigger one. Lime smells so good. I'm going to add just a little bit of vinegar. This is rice vinegar, but you can do white vinegar. Just a little bit. And then I'm going to add just a tiny bit of oil. Not nearly as much as the first recipe called for, maybe like a teaspoon or tablespoon. I'm also going to add some honey. If I can get it open. Oh, this isn't the one that's open already. This is my open one. Gonna add a a little bit of honey. This isn't gonna make it the dish taste sweet at all. This is just gonna kind of balance the flavors. And I put like a tablespoon of honey in there. I might end up using the rest of the jar, honestly, if I can. No, there's a little bit left in there. So now I want to add the seasoning. So I'm going to add salt and pepper to this, and possibly some garlic and onion powder. I think it needs a good bit of salt. One of the cans beans that I have is no salt added too, so just a little bit of pepper. I don't want it to be very strong pepper flavor. Let's see if I can. And then it only makes about a 1/4 cup of dressing, but to me this is plenty, because if you make too much, it's all just gonna drain and sit at the bottom anyway. So put that aside, this aside. I got new cutting boards, by the way. Let's see, medium-sized one. I just picked up like a 3-pack at Ollie's. They're this pretty blue color with like a swirl design in them, although there's not much of a swirl. The other ones were getting kind of dingy, so I thought this would be nice. I'm just going to cut up a little bit of red onion. By the way, I wanted to go to Dollar Tree while I was out, but honestly, it's just too hot, and I was ready to get home and get some stuff done. I need to shower after I'm done getting some things ready. I might even start the pizza dough and get it rising, or I might wait till closer to dinner time to do that. All right. One of our friends that comes over absolutely loves the Cowboy Caviar. I made dinner over the weekend for some guests, and he like made a separate bowl of Cowboy Caviar and just ate that before he started on the rest of his dinner. He likes it so much, and then he asked for the recipe so that he could make it to take to work. So this is a great recipe if you need like a quick and easy work lunch, especially for summertime, because it's very refreshing. We're trying to eat more fresh stuff. So lots of fruits, veggies, beans, that kind of thing. All right, you could chop this up smaller. I don't think you need that much because it looks like it's gonna make a ton, but I will have like a pretty big size serving of this. You could serve it with just the side. We had it on the side of like sliders and watermelon, sweet potatoes, that kind of thing. I don't know why I'm moving that out of my way yet. I think I might cut up the rest of this bell pepper. And I'm hoping that it fits all in this container. I have a plastic container in my pantry I've been using, but it's kind of a little bit too big and they don't seal. It's not like an airtight seal like these are, so I'm hoping I can get away just using this one. Even if I have to put it in this and maybe a smaller glass container too that overflows. I'm going to try to mix it in this too so that I don't have an extra bowl to wash tonight. So Vacation Bible School went pretty well. I had 4 little ones, so that was really sweet. Oh, I didn't even tell y'all what ages I had. I have the littlest group, so I usually have 0 to 3, and we have a blast. I had a very sweet lady in there helping me this year, and we just had a good time. I bought a really cool bubble machine from Target. I don't know if I ever showed y'all. It was like $10. It was cheaper than any bubble machine I could find anywhere, and it blows a lot of bubbles. And I think it's one that if they tip it over, it doesn't spill out, which is why I wanted it. And so we brought that outside. It was storming most of the days, so we could only do that. I think I only brought it like 2 of the days or something, but it was pretty fun. We had a blast, and then we did fun crafts. Our Bible school focused on the stories about Elijah this year, so that was fun and interesting to teach. It was a little bit difficult though, because that story has a lot packed. There's a lot to unpack there about Elijah, especially whenever you're trying to teach 2 and 3-year-olds about it. So you have to break things down even further and just stick to the simple basics for kids that age, but it was pretty fun. I also already had lunch, like when I got home. That was one of the first things I did. I already had to take insulin because my blood sugar was high after going to the gym. So I was like, well, I might as well go ahead and stop and eat something so I don't have to take multiple injections. I can take my correction and my bolus for my food at the same time. So for lunch I had leftover yellow rice with tomatoes in it, and then I had a bowl of watermelon, and I had a leftover sweet potato. No, never mind. I was thinking mix it in the colander, but I can't add a dressing. If I do that, I can only make the beans and onions and stuff together that way. So I think I am going to put it in another bowl. Let's see what we got here. The colors look absolutely beautiful. Oh, the other thing I forgot to add was some cilantro. I might skip out on it this time because I bought fresh cilantro like a couple weeks ago and it's not so fresh anymore. But if you make this, definitely add the cilantro, unless you have the soap gene. It's all nice and mixed together. You can add whatever beans you want in here, by the way. The last time I made it, I was out of black-eyed peas, so I used a can of cannellini beans, and that worked out great. So, you could probably also put tomatoes in here, cucumbers. I'm not going to do that, though, because I think it'll last longer in the fridge if I don't. Alright, let's get started on the next thing. Okay, I haven't baked anything sweet in a while, or baked anything in a while in general. I think I'm going to make brownies with the Greek yogurt again. And we're going to see how that goes. And then I'll get those in the oven baking. And then I will whatchamacallit. And then I will I can't think. I will start on the pizza dough. Why did that take so long to think about? I just realized I left the cheese on the couch where I left my grocery bags because it just had like a couple cans of beans and stuff like that in it. I left the cheese out. It's fine though. I mean, it's not like hot or warm or anything. It's just room temperature, and we're cooking it tonight, but come on, like, get it together. Yogurt, I'm gonna try doing it with 2 eggs instead of 1 this time. Sugar. All right, we need 1 1/4 cups of regular sugar. Putting the ingredients in the right order since I'm doing this differently than the recipe. I'm just using my favorite brownie recipe. I did all this and made the mix for it in my last video if you want to check it out. So that's, let me start it. I lost track. I'm pretty sure there's just 1, but 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1/4. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna do about 1/2 cup of this Greek yogurt. One more scoop about that size should do it. We'll try it with 1/4 cup of milk first. No, my recipe says to do 1 cup. We'll do 1 cup. Or a half, because I'm doing 2 eggs this time. There you go. Alright, time to go ahead and add these eggs. I'm hoping that adding the 2nd egg will make it fudgier. Last time I only had 1 egg in my refrigerator, so that's what I did. And then I just added a little bit more liquid, as in the oat milk or whatever milk you want to use. I'm just using oat milk because typically it's lower in fat. And I like it for other things, and I don't want to buy like a dozen different kinds of milks. That's the real reason. Okay. Vanilla. Some vanilla extract. I would be using my homemade extract, but my mom gave me this and I want to use that up. Also, big important thing, because we're working with chocolate, I moved all my spices here if you can't tell. Well, some are still up there, but the extracts and extra stuff is down here. So I need to find this. You can use espresso powder or instant coffee powder, just a little bit, maybe like 1/2 teaspoon or something. Add it to your chocolate baking because it'll enhance the chocolate flavor. All right, whisk this together. Coffee powder smells real good. And then I'm gonna add a cup of flour. Okay. And then 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. I'm almost out of cocoa powder. It's pretty low, so I'm probably gonna have to get some next time I go to Sam's. Azure Standard was completely out of all sizes of their packages of cocoa powder. So I didn't get any last time. Alright, 1/2 cup. That's a lot. 1/4 teaspoon baking soda. And 1/2 teaspoon salt. Teaspoon of salt, wherever it is. We've got everything in there now. I'm just going to whisk it together and then bring out a rubber spatula to scrape the sides and then put it in a dish. I usually do something a little bit bigger than an 8x8. I don't know exactly what the measurements are, but you'll see it. We don't want our brownies to be thin, but we also don't want them to be too thick. It's just our preference. And this batter is a little bit thinner than it was the last time I made this. It's probably just for the extra egg. But this is about the consistency that I have the batter that I like for it to be whenever I make this. Let me test it. Pretty good. Pretty chocolatey. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this whisk and get a rubber spatula. So depending on the brownie recipe, this is about the size pan that I like to use. This is my favorite brownie dish. Can you tell I like the amber glass? Let me see. This one is 8 by 4 centimeters. No, 28. Okay, I can see it better. I'm trying to read through the glass and it's difficult. 28 by 18 by 4 centimeters. So whatever that is in inches, that's what this pan is. It's a little bit bigger than an 8 by 8 square, but it fits inside of a 9 by 13, so it's not quite 9 by 13. And I'm just gonna lightly spray this. Now that that's all ready, I have these allergen-free, major allergen-free. I'm sure some of these probably still work with something in them, but they're mini chocolate chips. Our Walmart started carrying these in like the gluten-free section, but they've been out of stock since the first time I picked them up. So hopefully by the time we run out, we'll have more. But I like these because they're smaller, so you can cover more of an area with them by sprinkling them. Less calories. And I'll probably be enjoying one of these brownies before dinner. There we go. And I just baked these at 350 for about, I'd say 25 minutes and then check on them. They're going to be, like you test them about the same way as you do normal brownies. You just leave them a little bit fudgy if you like that, or cook them a little bit longer. But we like a good fudgy brownie. So the brownies are done. I didn't hear them go off, so they were in a little bit longer than I originally wanted. But don't they look so good? They smell delicious. This is how the whole thing looks. It rose a good bit. These are so good for being like a better for you kind of treat. And there's extra protein in there with the non-fat Greek yogurt. So I'm really excited to have these. I was editing, that's why I didn't hear the oven go off. I'm gonna enjoy this brownie and get back to editing and then shower, and we will work on the pizza dough for dinner. Okay, I've got our pizza dough recipe printed out. Ironically enough, I didn't have a pizza dough recipe before in my binder. I just had like a sourdough one and a sourdough discard one. I didn't have a regular one. I don't know what that's about because I've made regular pizza dough before. So I wanted to show you my cute little bandana I've got here. I picked this up at TJ Maxx. Yesterday I went with my mom to help her pick out some new frames. She didn't trust just, looking at them, seeing what she liked. She wanted somebody there with her to help her see which glasses suited her face the best. So we did that. We had a good time, went to a couple places. So we went to TJ Maxx, and that's where I got the cute little romper that I showed you and this bandana. So I've just got my fruit and vegetable dress on. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this, and it only has a 30-minute rise time, so we should be able to whip it together pretty quickly. This recipe is pretty flexible. It says you can use all-purpose or bread flour. So I'm gonna use bread flour because I have it. And I need 2 to 2 1/3 cups of flour. And we are not, yeah, we are starting with this. Yep, okay. Wasn't sure if we were gonna do liquids first or dry ingredients. All right, so this is a 1/2 cup measure, so 1, 2, 2. All right, we're gonna start with 2 cups and then we'll add the extra 1/3 cup whenever, if we need it. All right, yeast. I found this yeast measuring spoon when I was at the thrift store. It measures out exactly 2 1/4 teaspoon. So it's the perfect amount and you don't have to depend on the packet or, you know, get 2 different measuring spoons out or whatever. So there we go. I need 1 1/2 teaspoons of sugar. I don't know why I closed that. And 3/4 teaspoon of salt. I think it's the rest of the salt that's in here. Yeah. And something interesting, it calls for garlic powder and or basil leaves. I don't know if I have basil. I don't think I have basil. It's okay. I'm more excited to use the garlic powder in it. And then 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So I'm gonna get this mixed together first. And then I'll need 3/4 cup of warm water. I'm just gonna get that from the tap. You got 3/4 cup of warm water now. And then I'm just gonna pour this in little at a time and then mix it. We might not need all of the water and we might need to add more flour after. I'm not really sure, so we'll see. All right, I'm gonna leave it just like this, a little bit shaggy, and then I'm gonna get in there with my hands. But before I get my hands messy, I'm gonna go ahead and spray the second bowl. You probably could get away with using the same bowl, but I'm gonna try to follow this recipe to a T. I'm just gonna lightly spray it with some avocado oil. Get in there and try to knead it together. You don't have to knead this for very long, just until it gets a little bit smoother and you don't feel the dry flour on the outside. All right, it's looking pretty good. Put it in this bowl now and cover it with plastic wrap and let it sit for 30 minutes or until it's doubled, and then we'll come back and spread it out onto a pan and put our toppings on it. Okay, let's check it out. It's looking pretty good, looking pretty puffy. I'm gonna deflate this, knead it a couple times, and roll it out. That was a nice little break, by the way, because I rested for a few minutes, got up, did some housework, and then my blood sugar went pretty low, so I fixed that issue. Had a banana and other things. Okay, this going on. This is the pan I want to try to put this on. It's a Pampered Chef pizza stone. It looks brand new. I think this is what I got in the last thrifting haul I showed you, actually. But I could never find a rack that would hold this, so hopefully I'll be able to get it in and out of the oven pretty easily. This recipe tells you to put it on a parchment lined baking sheet, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put some cornmeal on here to dust it. That way it doesn't stick. The oven is preheated to 500. That's not what the recipe says to do. I know I said I was following this to a T, but that's how I used to bake all the pizzas, was put my oven as high as it'll go. So I'm gonna do that because we like a pizza that rises pretty fast and the toppings get cooked. Well, maybe it'll cook my toppings better if I have it lower. I might have regrets. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Just need this 3 to 5 times. There's my 30-minute timer. I was looking on my phone to see if I had a timer set, and it was saying I didn't, so I thought maybe I didn't set it. Or it didn't go through or something. The garlic powder in this smells amazing. Alright, I'm just going to kind of go ahead and press it into a rectangular shape, and then we're going to roll it out. This is supposed to make a 12-inch pizza, by the way, if you choose to do it circular. So dough's holding together pretty good. It's not acting like it's gonna tear, so that's lovely. I think I'm just gonna, oh, it did tear there though. I think I'm just gonna pull it a little bit. And I think that's a pretty good size. And see how it like shifts on the cornmeal? It's not acting like it's gonna stick, so I think we'll be fine. I'm just gonna press it out a little bit more, and gonna get out the toppings. Okay, I've got just basic marinara from Aldi. I'm gonna get a decent sized spoon. Okay. My husband likes a lot of marinara, so I'm gonna try to go kind of heavy handed with it. I'm gonna spread it out. I'm gonna try to spread it without touching the dough. That way whenever I put the spoon back in, I don't contaminate the jar. I want it to last as long as it'll last in the fridge, because I don't know the next time we'll be using it. It looks so tasty. Alright, as far as toppings go, I'm gonna have the Italian style cheese that I bought earlier, and then some hard salami. Sure, it's still good. So the pizza place that we really like to get salami on our pizza at, they typically put salami underneath the cheese, so that's what I'm gonna do. I think that'll keep it from burning. Mushrooms usually shrink up a lot, so I'm going to leave them in big pieces. Ooh, I almost forgot red onion. That's the other thing I need. Okay, so we're going to chop up the red onion first. Mostly because I think I'm going to decide to put all of the toppings under the cheese just to keep all of the toppings from burning, because the mushrooms and red onion tend to burn anyway. Just try to cut it as thin as possible, and I'm only gonna do like this much. See how thin that is? And I'll cut it pretty small. It cooks well, but just adds a little bit of flavor. And I should probably salt the edges of the crust. Alright, here's the salt. I think that crust tastes extra good. Right. Now it's cheese time. Alright, I'm going to put this in the oven and set the timer for 5 minutes, but I'm really going to watch it closely. Can't get this zipper closed. There's cheese stuck in it. Okay. I'm just going to watch this super close because this will burn very quickly. But I'll keep an eye on it and then I'll show you whenever it's all done and then we'll eat. There it is. I would say it took more like 10 minutes and then I put it on broil for a little bit, but it looks so delicious. I can't wait to dig in. And then over here, I've got some corn that I just doctored up with some garlic and onion powder, salt, pepper, and some dried chives. But that's everything. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and if you liked this video, please consider subscribing. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.